The sky above planet Kale 7 was always dark, filled with thick smoke from old battles. Fires still burned in some places. Most of the alien cities were in ruins. This world had seen too many wars. It was no longer a home, only a graveyard, Captain. Elias Vance stepped out of his armored transport. His boots crunched over broken glass and alien metal. His armor was scratched, his face tired, but his eyes were sharp. Elias was a soldier of the Human Peace Corps, sent to help stop the war between alien factions after their empire collapsed. He was tall, strong, and quiet. Many called him the Ice Blade because he never lost control, even in the middle of a gunfight. "Captain," said his teammate. "Private Josa." Scanners picked up a strange signal in the ruins to the north. Faint. But it's not human. Tech? Elias nodded. "I'll check it out. Stay with the patrol." Loney moved through the cold ruins. His rifle was ready. The signal came from an old temple, a giant stone structure covered in alien writing inside. The walls were broken, and old symbols glowed softly in blue light. In the center of the temple, chained to a wall, was someone unexpected. She was tall, with silver skin and deep violet eyes. Her hair flowed like dark silk. She wore the remains of royal armor, torn, but still elegant. Though thin and weak, her posture was proud. She looked at Elias without fear. "So, the humans have finally come." Elias raised his weapon, but didn't fire. "Identify yourself." "I'm Queen Saria of the Inari Dominion," she said. "Last of the true rulers, prisoner of traitors and thieves." Elias narrowed his eyes. "A queen? Here? Alone?" "They thought killing me would break my people," Saria said. "But one of their leaders kept me alive as a trophy. Then the Civil War began. I was forgotten." Elias looked at the chains, old, rusted, but still strong. It had clearly been here for years. "Why should I trust you?" he asked. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She simply said, "Because you are human, and you still have a heart." Elias was quiet. Then he stepped forward and used his plasma blade to cut the chains. Saria fell forward. But Elias caught her. "I'm not here to take sides," he said. She looked up at him. "You already have." Later at a hidden camp, Saria ate slowly. Her hands trembled from weakness. Elias watched her carefully, not sure if she was a friend or a risk. "I've heard stories about your people," he said. "The Inari were rulers, conquerors. Why should I help one of you?" Saria smiled. Bitterly. "Those stories are true. We ruled many worlds, but not all rulers seek blood. I was trying to bring peace, till my own generals turned against me." Elias sat across from her. "And your daughter?" Her face changed. She looked away. "They took her during the coup," she whispered. "She was only 6. I still don't know if she's alive." Elias felt something twist in his chest. He had no family left. War had taken them all. But the pain on Saria's face, he understood it. "I searched for her," she continued. "But the galaxy is wide, and I was trapped here. Every night I prayed to the stars. Every day I cursed my weakness. But I never stopped believing she lives." Elias stared at the small fire between them. "Where do you think she is?" Saria looked at him now, her eyes burning with hope. "I know where she was taken. A faction loyal to one of the warlords. They used her as a prize. Or a hostage. Last I heard, she was on the dark moon of Threxfor." Elias said nothing for a while. Then he stood. "My mission is to keep peace. I'm not supposed to interfere in alien affairs." Saria's eyes dropped. She whispered, "Then I'm already dead." He looked at her, but no child should be left behind. Especially not one taken from her mother. He held out his hand. "I'll find her." She looked up in shock. "Why would a human risk his life for me?" "Because you asked me," he said simply, "and because someone should." The next morning, Elias met with his superior officer. Through a holocall, "Captain Vance," the voice of Commander Ryler echoed. "Your last scan report was incomplete." "Did you find something in the ruins?" Elias kept his face still. "Nothing of importance, sir. Just more wreckage." "Stick to your mission." We're not here to rescue lost royals or chase alien stories, sir, Elias said. He ended the call. His jaw tightened. He had made up his mind. Elias prepared a small stealth ship. He hid the queen inside the cargo hold, deep within a secure chamber. She watched him silently. You'll need weapons, Elias said, handing her a small plasma pistol. Can you still fight? Syria smirked. I may be thin, but I haven't forgotten how to kill. They lifted off quietly from Kale 7. As the ship left the atmosphere, stars filled the view. Syria stood beside Elias. Her hands touched the window. For years, I've stared at stone walls. Now, I see the stars again. Elias didn't. Look at her. We're heading to Threx 4. It's far and dangerous. The warlord there is known for being cruel. Syria nodded. His name is Rooktalon. He was one of the traitors. If he still has my daughter, I will rip his heart out. Elias raised an eyebrow. Let's not start with that. Syria gave a thin smile. I forget humans are softer. Elias shook his head. We're not soft, just smarter about how we fight. She studied him. Don't speak much, but your actions are loud. Elias set the ship to light jump. The stars stretched into lines. Let's just bring her home, he said. Syria whispered. Yes, let's bring my child home. As the ship entered deep space, Elias sat alone in the cockpit. He stared at a small photo he kept in his chest pocket. Old picture of his sister taken before she died in a colony attack. She had been only 8. I couldn't save you, he said softly, but maybe I can save someone else. Far behind them, Kale 7 faded into darkness. Ahead, a new mission had begun. The warrior and the queen, both broken, both determined, were now allies, and somewhere across the stars, a young alien girl waited for a mother she thought was lost forever. The stars outside the ship window were quiet and cold. Inside the cockpit, Elias sat at the controls, watching the radar screen. The ship, Stalewind, was moving through deep space, heading toward the dark moon Rex-4. Behind him, Queen Syria entered the cockpit. She was no longer weak. Her strength was slowly returning. She had braided her long silver hair and wore a robe over the armor Elias gave her. How long until we reach Threx 4? She asked. 2 days, Elias replied. Without turning, Syria folded her arms. You are not very talkative. I speak when I need to. Do you ever laugh? He gave a faint smile. Only when my enemy is surprised. She sat beside him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she asked, Why are you really helping me? Elias looked ahead. You lost your daughter. Lost my sister during a colony attack. I couldn't save her. Syria's face softened. Elias continued, I know what it feels like to carry regret. If I can help stop someone else from feeling the same pain, then maybe I can sleep better, Syria whispered. Then you are not just a warrior. You are a protector. The next day, they arrived near a busy spaceport on Orcs Station, a trade outpost near Threx 4. The Stalewind couldn't go directly to the moon. It would raise suspicion. So Elias planned to gather information first. The spaceport was full of aliens, traders, mercenaries, smugglers. The air smelled like oil and smoke. Elias and Syria wore cloaks to hide their faces. They walked side by side, scanning the crowds. This is dangerous, Syria whispered. If anyone recognizes me, they won't, Elias said. You don't look like a queen anymore. Syria raised an eyebrow. Was that an insult? Compliment, Elias replied. You look like a fighter. She smiled a little. They entered a dark tavern filled with noise. Elias walked to the bar and tapped a symbol on the counter. A hidden door opened behind the bar. Small alien with glowing green eyes peeked out. Elias Vance, the alien hissed. I hoped you were dead. Nice to see you too, Gek. Elias said calmly, I need information. Information costs, Gek said, coming out and sniffing the air. And your friend smells expensive. Syria stepped forward. Careful, little one. Gek laughed. She has fire. I like her. Elias showed a silver coin. This buys your silence. I need to know who controls Threx 4 now. Geek's smile dropped. Rook Talon still rules the moon. He has many guards, many slaves, keeps trophies, children too. Syriza's hands clenched. Anyone ever see a young Inari girl with violet eyes? Elias asked. Geek's eyes narrowed. Yes, a few years ago. She was brought to the fortress. Some say Rook planned to raise her as his own. But no one sees her now. She may still be alive. Or not. Elias handed him the coin. Tell no one we were here, of course, human. I'm just a humble worm, Gex said with a grin. As they left the tavern, Syria was silent. Her hands trembled slightly. She's alive, Elias said softly. We'll get her back. Syria nodded, eyes burning with silent fury. Later that night, aboard the ship, Elias sat alone, checking his weapons. Syria stood nearby, watching. Him, you've broken many rules for me, she said. Your command will not forgive this. You'll never know, Elias replied. Syria stepped closer. You could have walked away. I could have, he said, but I didn't. She sat beside him. In Inari tradition, when someone risks their life for royalty, they are marked as part of the royal bloodline. Elias chuckled. Need titles. It's not about title, Syria said. It means, I trust you with my life, and my child's. Ilias looked at her. Then you should know. Once we land on Threx 4, there's no going back. I never planned to, she replied. The ship neared Threx 4, a dark, cold moon with high cliffs and deep canyons. Rook Talons? A fortress was built into a mountain, surrounded by defense towers and watch drones. We can't go in loud, Elias said. We die in seconds. Then what's the plan? Syria asked. We go in quiet. We'll sneak in through the waste tunnels. She smirked. Disgusting, but smart. Elias pulled out a small black device. This is a tracker. When we find Lyra, I'll attach it to her. If we get separated, the ship can lock onto her signal. If we don't find her, Syria asked. We will. They landed far from the fortress and began the long trek across rocky ground. The wind howled and shadows moved across the canyons. Drones flew overhead, but Elias's tech kept them hidden. As they neared a tunnel, Syria paused. I feel something, she said. Like ... a connection. Elias looked at her. You feel your daughter? Syria nodded. Yes, it's faint. ... But it's there, Elias whispered. Then she's alive, inside the tunnels. It was cold and dark. The smell was terrible, but they kept moving. After hours of crawling through sludge and narrow paths, they reached a metal grate. Elias peered through. This leads into the lower prison cells. From there, we can search the upper chambers. He used a silent cutter to remove the grate. They slipped inside. In the halls above them, footsteps echoed. Voices shouted in alien tongues. Guards passed but never saw them. Finally, they reached the cell blocks. Syria froze. One of the cells held small beds, soft lights, and toys made of crystals. A little alien girl sat in the corner, drawing on the wall with her finger. She had silver skin and violet eyes. Syria gasped. Her knees buckled. Lyra. She whispered. The girl looked up. ... Mother. Lyra stood slowly, her eyes wide. She walked toward the bars. Syria reached through the metal, tears in her eyes. My star ... My little star ... Is it really you? Lyra asked. Are you a dream again? No, Syria said. I'm here. I'm real. Leah stepped forward. We need to move now. He used a code cracker to open the cell. Door hissed. Lyra rushed into her mother's arms. They held each other tightly. I missed you every night, Lyra cried. I never stopped looking for you, Syria whispered. But just as they embraced, an alarm rang. Red lights flashed. Elias. Cursed. They've spotted us. He looked at Syria. Can you run? I can fly if I must, she said, lifting Lyra. Elias pulled out a grenade. Then let's go. They ran through the prison halls. Doors opened. Guards shouted. Blaster fire lit up the corridors. Elias led them through a side path, covered them, shooting with calm precision. Each shot hit. Lyra clung to her mother. "He's not a Nari," she whispered, "but he fights like one." Syria smiled. "He's better. He's human." They reached a blast door. Behind it was the waste tunnel exit. Elias keyed the code, but the door stayed locked. "System locked," he said. "They've sealed us in." Heavy footsteps echoed behind them. A tall, armored alien appeared, Druk Talon himself. His eyes burned with fury. "You returned, Syria," he growled. "To take what I claimed. She is my child," Syria shouted. "Not yours." "She was my prize," he snarled. Elias stepped forward. "You want to fight? Try me," Rook laughed. "A human. You're nothing." Elias didn't speak. Fired 2 shots. Rook staggered. Armor cracked. Elias charged. The warrior and the warlord clashed. Captain Elias Vance stood between the alien warlord and the 2 people he had sworn to protect. Behind him, Queen Syria held her daughter Lyra, tight in her arms. The child trembled but didn't cry. Ahead, Rook Talon, the traitor warlord, growled. With fury, his thick black armor glowed red with power. His 2 horns were chipped from old battles, but his strength was clear. He was nearly 7 feet tall and carried a huge plasma axe. "You came back just to die, Syria," Rook sneered. "And you brought a human toy to do your fighting." Elias didn't respond. Breathing was slow, controlled. His eyes focused. On Rook's weak points, neck joints, the armor gap at his side. "Take the girl and run," Elias said quietly to Syria. "No," she said, stepping forward. "I fight beside you." He didn't argue, just gave a short nod. Rook let out a roar and charged. The clash was violent. Elias rolled aside just as the plasma axe slammed into the ground, sending sparks flying. He fired his rifle, but Rook's armor absorbed most of the shots. Syria ducked into cover with Lyra. She handed the child a small crystal. "Hold this, darling. It's from home. Stay hidden." Lyra nodded, watching with wide eyes. Elias circled around Rook. The warlord swung again. The blade scraped Elias's arm, burning through his armor. He gritted his teeth but didn't fall. "Is that all, human?" Rook taunted. "I've crushed bigger things than you." Elias smiled grimly. "But none of them were me." He leaped onto Rook's back, stabbed into a joint, and yanked wires loose. And threw him across the floor. Elias crashed into. Owalin dropped his weapon. Syria sprang into action. She grabbed a guard's fallen spear and rushed at Rook. Her movements were fast, full of trained grace. The spear sank into the side of Rook's armor right where Elias had damaged it. Rook spun, backhanding her. She hit the wall hard but stayed awake. Elias stood, blood on his face. He grabbed a blade from his boot and ran again, low and fast. The last moment, he slid under Rook and drove the blade deep into his side. The warlord screamed in pain. Syria, now on her feet again, raised her hand. Her royal armor glowed, an old Inari energy spark came to life inside her. A burst of violet light struck Rook's chest. The warlord staggered, then fell to one knee. Elias aimed his sidearm and fired one clean shot into Rook's exposed throat. The warlord choked, then collapsed. Silence. Elias stood still, breathing hard. Syria lowered her hand. "It's done," she said. Elias looked at Lyra. The child ran into her mother's arms. The alarm was still screaming. "We need to go," Elias said. "Now." He planted a charge on the locked door. It exploded with a bright flash, and the path opened again. They ran into the waste tunnels, smoke and fire behind them. Guards tried to follow, but Elias set traps behind them, mines energy grenades. Explosions shook the walls. After what felt like hours, they reached the outside. The stale wind was still hidden among the rocks. Its engine hummed quietly. Elias helped Syria and Lyra climb in. As he entered last, he saw more enemy ships rising in the distance. "We're not clear yet," he muttered. The ship rose into the sky as enemy fighters chased them. Elias jumped into the pilot's seat. "Hold on." Saria and Lyra strapped in as the Stalewind shot forward, dodging enemy fire. Elias flew fast through the canyon, weaving between sharp rocks. Lasers flew past them, some striking the shields. "We'll never outrun them," Saria shouted. "We don't have to," Elias said, pressing a hidden switch. From the back of the ship, a bomb dropped, EMP pulse. It exploded, sending out a blue wave that knocked out the enemy ship's systems. They fell like stones. "Nice trick," Saria said. "Human tech, ugly but useful." Elias angled the ship up, punched the jump drive, and they vanished into light. Hours later, they sat in orbit around a quiet planet, safe. Lyra was asleep in her mother's arms. Elias leaned against the wall, his shoulder bandaged. "She's brave," he said. Saria looked at her daughter. "She is her mother's child, and her protector's too." Saria smiled softly. "You saved her. You saved me. I just kept a promise." She looked at him. "What now?" "We can't go back to the human base. If they find out I helped you, I'll be court-martialed." Saria touched his hand gently. "You have no place left among your people. I never really had one. Then come with us." Elias blinked. "What?" "You gave me back my daughter. You fought like one of us. You are one of us." Elias looked at Lyra. The child was smiling in her sleep. "Where would we go?" "There are still Inari loyal to the crown," Saria said. "If they see their queen and princess alive, they will rise again. But we need someone like you, not just to fight, but to guide." Elias stood up slowly. "I'm not a leader." "But you are a protector," Saria said. "Sometimes that's more important." They landed on a green world deep in the outer veil. It was quiet, untouched by war. A group of Inari survivors greeted Saria with tears. When they saw Lyra, they fell to their knees. "Your queen lives," Saria said. "Your princess is safe. The flame has not died." She turned to Elias. "And this is the man who brought us back together. He is human, but he is our warrior." The people bowed to him. Elias didn't know what to say. Lyra ran up and took his hand. "Will you stay with us?" He looked down at her. "I'll stay." That night, under a sky full of stars, Elias stood alone. Saria walked beside him. "The people are already telling stories," she said. "About the human who fought the warlord? I'm no hero." "No," Saria said. "You're more than that." He looked at her. "You're rebuilding your world. You need peace now. We need people who believe in peace." "People like you," Elias thought. For a long moment, "I made an oath to protect a child," he said. "That oath doesn't end here." He turned to her. "I'll help you rebuild." Saria smiled. "Then you're not just a human warrior now. You are part of the Inari." The planet Varela, hidden deep in the outer veil, had once been a place of peace and learning. Now, after the Inari Empire's fall, it was a shadow of its past. But under the trees and silver blue skies, Queen Saria had returned with her daughter Lyra and the human warrior who made it possible. Captain Elias Vance had never planned to stay. But each day, among the Inari people, he felt something different. Purpose. He stood on a ridge, watching Inari survivors gather in an open field. Many wore old armor, carried farming tools. They were ready to follow their queen again. But the threat of war still loomed. Saria stood beside him, her silver hair flowing in the wind. "They remember," she said softly. "They remember who they are, but they are afraid." Elias nodded. "Fear fades with action. Then show them." Elias trained the Inari every day. He taught them human battle tactics, movement, teamwork, how to use cover during gunfire. He even modified their weapons, combining human and Inari tech. At first, they struggled. Their old ways focused on honor duels and direct attacks. Elias showed them how to fight smart, not just hard. "You don't need to die bravely," he told them. "You need to survive smartly." Even Saria joined the training. She fought beside Elias, her skill returning stronger each day. Lyra, now more relaxed, helped the healers and studied maps of their old territory. One evening, after training, Elias sat near the fire, fixing a damaged drone. Syria approached. "You've changed us." He looked up. "You were always strong. I just helped you remember. You've given them hope," she said, "and given me a reason to lead again." Their eyes met. The moment stretched, but a soldier rushed over. "My queen, message from orbit." They hurried to the command tent. A holodrone lit up. A young Inari scout appeared. Enemy ships. 5 destroyers. Heading toward Varela. Time unknown, maybe 2 days. Led by a new warlord. Calls himself Tarak Vorn. As his face hardened. Tarak was one of Rook Talon's lieutenants. "If he knows you're alive." "He wants to finish what Rook couldn't," Syria said. Elias turned to her. "We don't have much time." That night, the camp prepared for war. Elias stood before the warriors. "I won't lie to you," he said. "They have more ships, more weapons, but they don't have what we have: heart. You fight for your home, your families, your queen." The warriors raised their weapons and roared. Syria stepped forward. "This is not just a battle. This is our return. And with Elias beside us, we will not fall again." Lyra watched from the back, eyes full of pride. The next morning, Elias prepared defenses around the valley where they would make their stand. Mines, shield generators, hidden trenches, everything he had learned in the human wars. "Will it be enough?" Syria asked as they walked the field. "It has to be." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "If we fall, we won't," Elias said. "Not today." On the second night, the sky lit up. Enemy ships appeared in orbit, dark shapes with glowing red engines. From the clouds, dropships fell. The war had come to Varela. Elias stood at the front, helmet on, rifle ready beside him. Syria in royal armor, glowing with ancient Inari energy. Behind them, hundreds of warriors stood with spears, blasters, and courage. The enemy soldiers landed, tall and cruel-looking, led by Tarak. Vorn, a thick-scaled alien with glowing eyes. "Give me the queen," he shouted, voice echoing, and the girl. "Do that, and I'll spare the rest." Syria stepped forward. "I am the queen. Come take me if you dare." Tarak laughed. "I crushed empires. I'll crush you." "No," Elias said calmly. "You'll face something worse. A human with nothing left to lose," Tarak pointed. "Kill them all." The battle began. Explosions shook the valley. Elias led the first charge. He moved fast, firing with deadly accuracy. His warriors followed, using cover just like he trained them. The traps worked. Enemy soldiers fell into holes, triggered mines, or were stunned by shock. Field Syria fought like a storm, her energy blades slicing through enemy ranks. Lyra stayed in the command post, watching the battle through cameras, helping relay orders. Her voice, small but strong, kept the defenders focused. This way more, coming from the east. Elias smiled, hearing her. She's learning fast. But the enemy pushed harder. Tarak unleashed Walker's giant machines with plasma cannons. They began tearing through the defenses. Elias called Syria. "We need to take out those walkers, or we're finished." Syria nodded. "Come with me." Together they raced toward a hidden launch platform. Elias had prepared a surprise 2 old Inari air bikes he repaired using human tech. Syria took one, Elias the other. They flew into the sky, dodging fire. Heading straight for the walkers, Elias dropped a plasma, charged onto one of them, exploded in flames. Syria crashed into the second one, leaping off before it fell. She landed, rolled, and stabbed her blade into the last walker's engine. All 3 machines fell. The valley shook. But the tide was turning. Tarak saw his forces losing. Furious, he stormed forward himself. "I will kill you all myself." He roared. He charged through the battlefield towards Syria and Elias. Saria stood to fight, but Elias held out his arm. "This one's mine," Tarek growled. "You again, human?" "Me again," Elias said. The two warriors clashed plasma. Sword against power. Axe. Elias moved with speed and precision. Tarek, with brute force, blow after blow, echoed across the valley. Tarek knocked Elias back. "You are alone," Elias stood, blood on his lip. "No, I have a world behind me." Syria and the others surrounded Tarek. Tarek raised his axe butt. Elias shot one final round, straight into the alien's heart. Tarek fell. The enemy broke and ran. Silence, then cheers. The Inari had won. That night the people lit fires across the hills. Songs filled the air. Survivors hugged, cried, and danced. Elias sat quietly, watching Lyra run and play with other children. For once she laughed freely. Syria sat beside him. "You've given us more than victory," she said. "You've given us back our lives."
Elias
looked at the stars. "I just kept fighting. You gave us fire." "And steel," she said softly. He smiled. "You already had both." She touched his hand. "So did you." They sat in silence, watching the flames dance under the stars. 3 weeks had passed since the battle on Varela. The valley was peaceful again. The dead were honored. The wounded were healing. And the people once scattered and afraid were rebuilding their lives. Queen Saria stood at the edge of the main plaza, dressed in a new royal robe stitched with silver threads. Her crown, once broken and lost, had been reforged. Beside her stood her daughter, Lyra, smiling and full of life. And near them, standing silently in a simple black coat, is Captain Elias Vance. The human warrior today was not a day for battle. It was a day of unity. Across the plaza, hundreds of Inari gathered. Some were warriors, others farmers, builders, or healers. They had come to see their queen, and to honor the man who gave them a second chance. A horn blew. The crowd fell silent. Syria stepped forward. "My people," she said, her voice clear, "you have walked through fire. You have lost families, friends, and homes. But today, we stand together, not in fear, but in strength." The crowd cheered. "Many thought our royal line was gone," she continued. "Many thought our enemies had won. But one man, not Inari, not born of this world, stood against them. And because of him, I hold my daughter again. Because of him, we still stand." She turned to Elias. The crowd followed her gaze. Syria raised her hand. "Kneel, Elias Vance." Elias blinked. "What?" "Kneel," she said softly. "Just this once." Slowly, Elias bent one knee. Syria placed a glowing emblem on his chest, an ancient Inari honor mark, once reserved for the highest guardians of the royal family. "From this day forward," Syria said, "you are not just human, you are Inari. A protector of our people, a brother to the royal bloodline." The crowd roared with approval. Lyra ran forward and hugged him tightly. "Uncle Elias." He smiled and gently hugged her back. That evening, after the ceremony, Elias walked alone. Near the river that cut through the edge of the forest, the stars reflected on the water. The wind was calm. Syria joined him, carrying 2 small cups of warm drink. "You always walk alone after battles," she said, handing him one. "Habit," he replied, sipping. "Helps me think." "Do you regret staying?" she asked Elias. Shook his head. "No. I've fought many wars, but this one felt different. It mattered." "It did," she said, "to all of us." They stood in silence for a while. Syria looked up at the stars. "The galaxy is still broken. Other warlords are out there. Other colonies need help." "I know." She turned to him. "Will you help me lead them? Not as a general, not as a soldier, but as a partner." Elias raised an eyebrow. "You mean politics?" She smiled. "I mean guidance, protection, a voice of reason. You've earned that place." He took a long breath. "I'm not sure I'm the right man." "You are," she said. "You already led us through fire." Now we need you in peace." He looked at her for a long time. Then he nodded. "All right, but don't expect me to wear robes." Syria laughed for the first time in days. "Deal." Next day, Elias stood inside a new building, once a ruined library, now rebuilt into a school and training center. Lyra sat with a group of young Inari children, learning about stars and planets. Her laughter echoed through the halls. Elias walked past classrooms, helping train guards and teachers. His face looked calm. For the first time in years, he felt something deep inside. Peace outside, Syria worked with farmers and engineers, rebuilding roads and solar panels. She led not with fear but with strength and care. Word began to spread across nearby systems. The Inari were rising again, and with them, tales spread too. Tales of a human warrior who crossed a war-torn galaxy, freed a forgotten queen, who reunited a mother with her daughter, and who became the protector of an alien people who once feared his kind. Months later, during a meeting with outer system allies, an ambassador from a neutral planet looked at Elias and asked, "Why did you fight for them? You could have stayed." "Out of it," Elias answered simply, "because no child should grow up without a parent. And no warrior should stand by when something wrong is happening." The ambassador said, "But they're not even your species." Elias looked at Syria and Lyra, who were watching from across the hall. "They're my people now." That night, Lyra drew a picture using colored lights. It showed 3 figures: a tall queen with silver hair, a small girl with violet eyes, and a human in black armor holding both their hands. She ran to Elias and held it up. "I made this for you." He looked at the drawing for a long time. "Thank you," he said softly. She hugged him. "You'll never leave us, right?" Elias knelt to her level. "Not while I can still stand." And so, the story of the human warrior, once a soldier with no home, became legend. He did not win medals. He did not rule planets. But he gave hope to a broken people, protected a child's smile, and helped an empire rise from ashes, not for glory, not for duty, but because it was right.